Hello and welcome to It's Sybil. I am Sybil Wilkes. The guys are here. Hello, Cameron. Ever steady, Cameron. How are you?
I'm hot.
And it's going to get hotter, I understand, in your little burg.
Yes. Yes.
Ah, can't wait. Can't wait for you guys to have. And Damon, you don't want to hear that at all. You did not come home for this, did you?
Well, it's not just so much. I enjoy the heat. I'll never complain about it being hot. But I just remember the last time we had this type of heat, or at one point when it was extended, the Chicagoans didn't know how to deal with it, and people were falling out, and
Yeah.
we lost several people. That
Mhm.
heat wave back in the day. So everybody, if you don't have heat, just go to a grocery store in the frozen food department. Not heat. If you don't have air, just
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 open
go.
those refrigerated sections.
Go hang out by the frozen peas for a little while if you need to, or the park district. Do something, but do not die from hot, please.
Right, right. Or I have another suggestion. After they scoot you out of the grocery store, go to the library. The libraries
Yeah.
are air conditioned, and you can learn something. You
Yeah.
don't
What
have to
time they
take a book.
close?
check
6
your
p.m.
check your
6 p.m.
local 6 o'clock. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Maybe the sun will be down by then or close to it, and
That's
things will
the
start
that's
to
the
cool
prayer.
off. Okay, all right. Or the pool. Go over to the pool. I'm glad you're here, Damon. How's everything going this summer for you?
Oh man, what a tremendous summer it's been. We concluded the Martha's Vineyard Comedy Festival on a very high note. It sold out, and our competitors flopped. Um, and I'm not that type of guy, but he tried it and he was bogus. It became a movement against it actually,
Oh
and
Oh, look
wow.
at
and not
you.
against the comics, but the promoter who was trying
Right.
to the
Trying
culture
to
votes.
usurp what you all have done. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so there you go. And then I come home in City Winery tonight. My third and the final of the three-part summer series is completely sold out, and I'm
Oof.
looking forward to that. I've been having so much fun with this show because the live band aspect. So I have one of Bernie
Oh,
Mac's band
that's what it
members.
reminds me of.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah, so that's why I closed it out with Phil Seed. He was Bernie Mac's guitar player, and he may have some of the other guys that were in the Mac band. So that's an honor. And the Netflix hit, so it's a good day.
And we will talk about the Netflix streaming currently. So that is the Queen of Comedy and presents the Queen's Men, all the Queen's Men. So with my one of my
Hmm.
favorite people, some more. I can't wait for that. And Dominique was with us this week, and she said that she had just left Martha's Vineyard with your event and had a great time.
Oh, she killed that thing. If you ever get a chance to see Dominique Witten, you go and see that woman. She is incredible. She's so real and regular and down
Yeah.
home, but she's so brilliant with her stand up. Just a funny person.
She really is, and she is the queen of comedy. So she says, um,
DC.
okay, yeah, she represents the DMV for sure. So I'm glad you're back. I'm glad to see you, Cameron. And as we mentioned, it's going to be getting warm in Chicago. I hear that 99 to 100 degrees
Yep.
expected over the next day or two.
Yeah, that's the word. Yep.
Okay, okay. Well,
Yeah, I
I
saw
hope. I'm
I
sorry.
saw 101 for I think Thursday, and then the heat index is higher. So we're getting a little bit of Texas going on
You
here.
are feeling Texasy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's 101 right now.
Ooh.
So get ready. I was texting with some of my relatives in Chicago, and my godbrother had like a whole bunch of frosty drinks, lined up. This is how we deal with it. And she said,
Hmm.
my other cousin said, this is like diabetes on the run. And I said, well, you got to keep hydrated, in some way or another. So please, please, please. Oh, and another thing in light of the hot weather, another case has been found of a baby inadvertently left in the back of a
Oh,
van
come on,
at a
people. Come
nursery
on. Come on.
school. This is the worst time of the year for this to happen, obviously, and it almost seems like people just get really caught up in their day to day, and they forget to look behind them and make sure they have everything to take out of the car, including the children. So
Even leaving the
please,
window cracked does not help.
no, no. And they will show you, they've done demonstrations, Cameron. Have you seen this? Where they show you how quickly it can heat up inside of a car.
Oh, oh my
Um,
goodness.
e-
Wow.
yeah, it's and just imagine that effect on a child or a pet. So please keep that in mind. Make yourself a post-it if you got to. Go old school. Say, don't forget to look in the back of the car, because these tragedies are happening more and more. Although
Yep.
car companies are getting smart, they giving these little warnings on the dashboard. Do you have everything? Have you checked behind you? Have you checked your back seat? That kind of thing. So
Yeah, but
please,
those are new cars, and
right.
anybody that some of these people are not affording new cars, and
Yeah.
that's so unfortunate. Was this a school van or transportation
Yeah, that
service?
was the real
Oh.
tragedy. It was like a nursery or preschool van, and this infant was left in the car,
Mm.
in the van. So I don't want to start off with a downer here, but that's definitely most important that we do talk about that. All
Yep.
right, guys, let's move to the What You Need to Know newsletter, where we seek to super serve the African American community, inform and empower with our stories, be they political, such as Khameron, or social justice, or LGBTQ, or mental health and wellness directed. This is what we try to do each and every day, Monday through Friday, and we would love for you to subscribe if you don't already. It's an absolutely free subscription. Go to SybilWilkes.com, give us your name and your email address, and we will have it in your email box every Monday through Friday morning. Also included are the Little No Black History Facts. We have HBCU Corner, and it is. I had a relative call me the other day. And to wish me a happy birthday, and he's like, I gotta get, the biggest gift I can give you, and I was like, you're not gonna give me some money? He said, no, no, I'm gonna compliment you on the newsletter because it really is must read communication every day that I get. And, sometimes people say that they don't get their newsletters. And I ask you to check your spam or your junk folder, and then communicate that this is not spam, it's not junk. And if you still are not receiving it, give us an email, send us an email, and we will help. We have someone, we have a tech genius can help you remedy that situation. So, Khameron, let's start with you as our political contributor. And as the new school year begins, parents are asking, and perhaps these are suggestions that parents should be concentrating on for the sake of their children.
Yeah, Damon, Sybil, on Monday was the first day a lot of public schools were in session. And it was the first day a lot of colleges were in session too. When I was making my way around the city, doing all the things that I do, the air was just electric with movement. This is our post-pandemic return to school.
Mm-hmm.
And over the past couple of years, we've seen a lot of policy try to affect the way school is ran. And I feel like that the health of our nation, if anyone really wants to assess what the health of our nation is, we need to focus on what's going on in our schools this year. We have seen a lot of mass shootings, even perpetuating over the summer. And that paranoia of violence is still happening in our schools. And so I'm proposing some questions on how do we protect our kids, but then make sure that they're still kids, that they still have the ability to play and have that and have that freedom, without having the fear of that level of violence. Likewise, we talked a couple weeks ago about how there are staffing shortages. I was at a back to school table event the other day, and I was meeting some of my friends, and they said, "Yeah, Khameron, we don't have a gym teacher." And I was like, "Okay, how y'all going to do the gym?"
Right.
And they're like, "We gonna figure it out." But also, there have been a lot of new hires of social workers and counselors.
Mm-hmm.
And with the focus,
So you kind of have to balance that, I guess, right?
Right. Yeah. So schools are answering the call for more mental health support, but there's still a lot of staffing shortages that I'm seeing in a lot of schools.
Right.
Likewise, a lot of schools received a whole lot of COVID relief.
Mm-hmm.
But we're discovering now with all of these like PPP fraud scams, that relief was not distributed equitably.
Right.
And we've seen, Governor DeSantis's culture wars and how that's affected all of the southern states. Diversity programs in colleges across the country are being underfunded.
If not wiped out altogether, right?
Right. And students are figuring out that they don't have a safe place to go and express and be themselves. But HBCUs are doing very well.
Yeah.
Considering the action that SCOTUS took, HBCUs are seeing an increase in funding, an increase in enrollment, and some HBCUs reported receiving their entire operating budget in one COVID relief check. Millions and millions of dollars. So that is one beacon of hope that we still have. And next week, I would like our viewers to join us again, because I've talked to some of my friends who are in education, who are still willing and wanting to be educators, and they're going to share what they feel we should be focusing on in our schools today.
I look forward to that. As the daughter of a Chicago public school teacher, I have those memories of days, and still friends of mine who are teachers, and talking and learning as a child growing up what the do's and don'ts were and how those things have changed, and especially for our younger teachers, and reading the stories about them, Khameron. As you said, a lot of them, especially like in the state of Florida and other states, where they're, taking books off the library shelves, telling them what they can and cannot teach in their classrooms, as far as history is concerned, and social studies and things like that. There is a mass exodus. I did a story on that last week. A mass exodus of teachers. Some tens of thousands of teachers said goodbye to their students and their schools in the spring, and vowed never to return.
And it's crazy that we needed a pandemic for them to appropriate the funds, but that means the funds were obviously there. They didn't come out of thin air. They could have done that for the schools. And if you have to choose between mental wealth and mental wellness, and gym teachers, I think we should go with the mental, because back in the day, old school gym teachers were stealing money anyway. I could still do all them exercises. What was this?
That's cardio.
And dodgeball. Anybody can go in there and teach this and tell them to play dodgeball.
I used to love some dodgeball, man. That was
same.
And a little piggy 1, piggy 2. Let's exactly. That is, and then the gym teachers just kind of leaning on the side or sitting on the floor or on the.
We had the worst shaped gym teachers. The closest they came to being in shape or in the gym was being named Jim. Because back then the gym teacher, he had extra duties, like he was a custodian, he was a bus driver, because he wasn't doing nothing. But gym was once a week at the school. But not to disparage our phys ed teachers, but trust me, maybe today the curriculum is better. But I could have been our gym teacher back in the day.
And very well could be.
Like we never had a sub for the gym teacher. If he didn't show up, we just played soccer. In a gym, kickball.
Okay. We had some rather physically fit and can I say this, Khameron? Masculine gym teachers for the girls. So yeah.
Did you say for the girls?
Yeah, the girl said had female gym teachers, but they were rather. They would kick.
I wasn't even gonna go there, but yeah.
that was good old Morgan Park Academy.
Yeah, we had some handsome female teachers too. Yeah.
Oh golly. Let's so Khameron promises us we're going to continue our talk on education next week, and with some young teachers who are out there doing the darn thing. Also in today's newsletter, CPA to the Stars, Katrina Kraft has a column on the tax benefits of marriage if you choose to get married, and how that can enhance your filing. And so take a look at that. Of course, as I mentioned, we also have a number of other things that are in our newsletter. I had an opportunity to go and serve my interweather geekiness this week, talking about Hillary as she landed in California. What was called a hurricane. Normally, they're called cyclones on the Pacific side of the world, but this was a category 4 hurricane at some point and ended up as a tropical storm, but did a lot of damage, not to our friends who live in some of the main areas of Los Angeles and but San Diego was hit quite hard. Palm Springs also did some damage, but there were a lot of roadways that soon became rivers. And this was true with Hillary, making her historic run throughout the state of California and areas such as the deserts, where they were getting more rain in a matter of hours than they got all year.
Yeah, a year's worth of rain they were saying would fall
Wow.
during that
Right.
particular situation.
Yeah. Yeah. So
But
they
what's a year's worth of rain in the desert anyway?
2 inches and they got 3 and 4 inches. They would get double that
See,
in a
that's
matter of hours.
that's sensationalism then. I mean, a dry ass desert. Oh, we went from 2 inches to 4 inches. I mean, who knows?
We're still talking about rain here.
Yeah, well, I guess in that case, maybe I shouldn't downplay it because if I was a 2, I'd rather be a 4.
And who among us wouldn't appreciate that? So I think that is you just think about it in some desert areas. Last week, people were lining up to take pictures of the record-breaking heat waves, 128 degrees, and then they had to close it because they had rivers flowing through the desert areas, and don't even think about as it goes closer into the more into the desert. Cities like Las Vegas, and they had to prepare for this. And you've seen Las Vegas when they get a wild current of rain. So thank you for indulging me in my meteorological talk.
I love
Um,
climate stuff. So
Right. What does rain do to cactus though? Do we know?
you don't. It I guess it feeds them a little bit, like thank you, and then they go back to they slurp it up, hold on to it, and then they don't need us to water them anymore.
We're still talking about rain, right?
Yeah. Thank you.
See?
Nice recall there. Hello, Med. How are you?
I'm doing good. How you doing, guys?
Good,
doing well.
good. Did you get your ears lowered today?
Uh,
As my daddy
yes,
used to say. Yeah.
yes, I did. I took
You
care
look
of
all
that.
trimmed and yeah,
Man, there's nothing better than letting the hair grow out a little bit and then getting that fresh shave and
yeah,
clean
yeah.
it all up.
Nice,
I'm
nice,
trying to
Yeah.
get
nice.
there. I'm trying to get over to the barbershop this week.
I'm not doing it because I'm not trying to look like Father Time. If I let my beard grow in, I'm gonna have to get some shoe polish like Les Brown. That,
Hey,
that's a
hey,
fact. A
hey,
sage man told me that one time before Les Brown did a speech. He had some black shoe polish, and he
hey,
That's
sometimes you gotta
funny.
do what you gotta do. When you're
That's
in front of the
they
funny.
have
camera
new
on
methods now.
hey, you're on stage too much, man. You can't let that happen to you. So yeah, you definitely got to keep it trim at all times. I can let it
Exactly.
go sometimes. It's okay.
Well, we're glad to have you.
Thank
We
you.
are talking a little bit about the newsletter and some of the stories in the newsletter. Uh, and one interesting thing I want to mention, Black Health Matters is one of our supporters here. And this particular story about college students and how to tame their headaches. A lot of people have headaches triggered by, and it could be age, gender, lifestyle, that kind of thing. Students are no exception. And young and seemingly healthy individuals often lead lifestyles that put them at increased risk for headache disorders, and they are tension type headaches. So take a look at that if you have a college or high school or college student and they're experiencing a tension type headache in a new environment, in a college dorm or a new school. Those are starting high school this year, and all of it has to do with the way they sit in the classroom, the amount of time they spend before their computers and their laptops and what have you, and especially with online teaching as they have become so accustomed. So, a number of tips there provided to help students, as you might imagine. And so that is the What You Need to Know newsletter. Also, in the newsletter, we also ask people to contribute to Barbara Scotia College. This is one of the oldest HBCUs in the country. They are under the leadership of a new president, President Chris Ray, president of one of the Divine Nine fraternities, and he is bringing new life to Barbara Scotia College, to the campus there on Concord, North Carolina, and they have a Barbara Scotia College Rise program in which they are asking people to donate to help the school get back, to pay off debt, and to bring the school back to its glory days in taking care of the dorms and being able to invite young people back onto the campus as they now have online classrooms. So take a look at that in the newsletter as well. So that's the What You Need to Know newsletter. Let's move to our What's Really Going On section. And we were expecting a guest, but we will now talk about our memories of school days since we've been talking about schools. Do you have some favorite memories from school days, good or bad, or meh, meh? But definitely, I think between the four of us probably can, and this can be school of grammar school, high school, college, postgraduate, whatever you like. But definitely talk about some of
Thanks,
those.
Sybil, because I only got two of those.
I think most of us only got, so grammar and high and
Only got is proof of it. The fact that I said only got is confirmation of the statement I made. Only got two of them.
But we want to talk about some of your favorite memories, maybe your favorite teachers, or just good times that you had. Khameron, this is closer to your memory than probably for the rest of us. You have favorite memories from school?
Yeah. So the first Black teacher that I encountered, like on my track, and there were a few others, but the first Black teacher that I had was a Jamaican man whose name was Mr. Brown.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mr. Brown played no games.
Right.
We had these reprimands called yellow slips, and if you got one, your parent had to sign it and all that. Mr. Brown was big on like negative reinforcement. So when anyone got a yellow slip, he would put it on the bulletin board and then have the kid get up and grab it and then say out loud what it is that they did, take it back to their parent, and then get that signed. He also would get very creative with the seating arrangements and would say, you all did really bad on this here test, so I'm going to sit the smart kids with the dumb kids so that the smartness will rub off on you all. And he was like, and Mr. Brown would call me Jupiter Boy because he thought that I was from Jupiter. And so he said, Jupiter Boy, where is it that you want to sit? Because I have to sit you next to a dumb kid. And I was like, Mr. Brown, you can't say that.
Because most dumb kids are usually bigger. So
football player.
Somebody that's bigger and the teacher's pointing you out as being better and calling them dumb. Yeah, Mr. Brown. Did Mr. Brown survive his tenure or did he get fired eventually?
Mr. Brown went on to become a principal.
Of course he did.
Yeah. And they also did a movie about him called Lean on Me, clearly. And
he had a baseball bat that he carried with him wherever he went. Michelle Lynn Summerall wants to know why Jupiter, Khameron, on Facebook.
He thought that the way that I existed was just like so out of this world that he called me Jupiter Boy.
So you were
Now,
right there, one of the main planets, huh?
yeah,
Yeah.
is Jupiter farther than what's closest? Like Mars is closest, right?
Right.
Yeah. I mean, Mars,
Mars,
Mercury.
Venus,
Yeah.
Jupiter,
He thought that I was just like
Uranus.
very far out there. I was very just like spacey and not engaged throughout school. It was
See,
like a consistent thing that my teachers would say.
So
only got two of them.
did you get a yellow slip for being not paying
I
attention?
got one yellow slip and I forged my mom's signature on it. And my mom gave me a butt whooping that I would never forget.
Wow.
You forged the signature. You trying
Yeah,
to
Found out?
I mean, the signature, the forgery was so bad
How
that
old were you, Khameron?
I think I was in third grade, so I was like
8.
9 years, yeah. And my mom was like, this could lead to like illegal activities.
A
You
life
need to
of
understand.
crime.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
this could lead to a life
That's
of crime here.
that's early in your
Oh.
cursive journey too. So a signature
Really?
was-
You were just
Yeah, so I was like,
getting
oh, I know
cursive in.
cursive. I can replicate the signature. And no.
Definitely. Go probably the heart over the I. They probably didn't.
Yeah.
or he sounded like on the show Epstein's mom. Signed Cameron's mom.
Man.
Wow.
Wow.
Well, okay, so let's move from one Jamaican story to another son of a Jamaican. What about your school memories there, man?
No, it's just funny thinking about that, when he's talking about Mr. Brown and everything he was saying. I'm like, that sounds about right. Sounds about right. My mom used to call my sister a space cadet. You know what I'm saying? So when you said Jupiter, I'm like, it's right around there. Very creative when they come with the names, and probably wouldn't last too long today. But my story is, something similar. I had Spanish in 7th grade,
Mm-hmm.
and Miss Benitez was my Spanish teacher. The first time I ever took Spanish, and it was at this private school called St. Hubert's, and she was older woman, and
So that meant for you probably like 40-ish.
No. She was older. Like Miss Benitez, ain't no way Miss Benitez is around right now. Okay, Miss Benitez is already, almost there. So Miss Benitez,
She's moved to the big Taco Bell in the sky.
yeah, exactly, and
Pepe.
You on the road today.
big enchilada in the sky. Anyways, Miss Benitez had, said something to me, or she made me upset. And so under my breath, I said, "This old bag." And then one of my peers said, "Oh my God, you called her an old bag." I looked at that person. I'm like, "Really? Did you just do that to me?"
Right.
Miss Benitez grabbed me up by the shirt. We went walking to like an empty classroom, and she called my home. And she's like, "I'm gonna talk to your mother." So now, of course, you know what Khameron is thinking about. I'm like, well, I'm about to die because my mother is about to kill me for what I just did.
Right.
Miss Benitez got the voicemail on the tape, and she left a
Beautiful.
message.
Oh, beautiful. Okay.
She left a message, and I'm just like, she's like, "Now, how do you feel?" I'm like, "I feel like I'm gonna get home before my mama does, and that message will never be heard." That's what I feel. So I didn't have to forward anything. Oh, that message never got heard from my parents. And then the next time I saw Miss Benitez, she said, "What did your mother say?" I'm like, "Yo, I'm still grounded. It is."
Good move. Good move.
I have not. No. I am so sorry, Miss Benitez. Yeah, never again. Never again. Nope. Thank God for the old school voices. Nowadays, as a parent, these teachers can get to you like that. You're talking in class right now. Tell them I'm gonna see him when he get home.
I was about to say, you talking about old school. Thank God for the old school voicemail. We didn't have recorders or anything, but when I was in 6th, 7th grade, you either had to catch mama or not. And I was smart enough to take the phone off the hook in the basement. So now they get the busy signal. They never get through. Once dinner hours were over, they wouldn't call that late, so we didn't have that problem. You had a teacher that could take you in the room and use the phone. There's probably only one phone in our whole school in the office back in those days. So you could act a fool in school and still stay out of it. What am you know what? I have a question for the people out there. I wish anybody could help me with this. I always had the second highest reading score at my school. I was always second, nice. And it was a young man named Alfonso Potts, and he would always be a few points ahead of me from like 6th through 8th grade. Mm-hmm. And I don't know where Alfonso Potts is. If anybody knows him, I do know he was a Jehovah's Witness, and I attributed that to his reading prowess because he had pamphlets all the time. But I wonder where Alfonso is and what he's doing these days, and hopefully he's doing well and somewhere teaching or something.
Alfonso Potts.
Alfonso Potts, wherever you are, my nemesis of the reading scores.
What was the school? What was the grammar school?
Wenderley Green Elementary, 6th through. He was in 7th and 8th grade together. And I'm trying to think. I know in 8th grade.
Was that over on Vincent's?
Yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, we went there. The first year was built. And that's the one story I got, or I have. I always wanted these Moonwalker shoes, right? My mother finally got me these Moonwalkers, but they put us in the school before the playground was complete. So it was just construction site and mud. And I finally got them shoes. When I came home with all that mud on my shoes after I begged her for them shoes, she beat my behind, and I had to wear them dirty for the rest of the year. And I mean, the day one, I trashed them. I was walking the moon. It was all type of hills and rocks. I never forget that. Wenderley Green Elementary.
Wow. Dang, that's cold. That's cold. And a beating on top of it. Not enough that you messed up your shoes, but your mama got after you after. Oh man.
Got a hold of you.
That's killer. I never got in trouble until, well, I talked a lot, obviously. But that's how you get a job in radio. But one of the times that I got in trouble was you're not supposed to throw snowballs. So and we thought it was at each other. That was the real problem. So we were checking our aim, throwing it at trees. Oh my gosh, why would you hit a tree with a snowball? They took real offense to our hitting the trees, and they called the house, and my dad was home. And my dad, my father was he was so chill. He's like, what the little girl do? She said, Mr. Wilkes, we are calling because she was throwing snowballs. And he said, who got hurt? She said, no one. She was throwing them at trees. And he said, is that right? Well, I will get on her as soon as she gets home. Do you want me to come up there now? She's like, no, sir, it's not necessary, but we just wanted to put you on alert. And he's like, okay. So I got home, and my daddy held his hand out, and I slapped him 5, and that was it. My mom never needed to know. And I was in 3rd grade, so it was like, it was cool.
I got to get out, people. It's 6:35. My show starts at 8, and it's downtown, and I'm in the south suburbs.
You got to hit the road. Okay.
Got to hit it.
Thank you so much
everyone
for joining us.
Been posting and reposting the s'mores, all the Queen's Men. If you happen to watch it, I don't care how you feel about it, just put them 2 thumbs up, even if you don't like it or you enjoy it, whatever, because it helps other artists get recognition on Netflix and get more opportunities like this. But you're going to love it. But I'm just saying, if you get a chance to hit them 2 thumbs, all the Queen's Men. And one lady, my sister's friend, she posted it on Facebook. She said, yeah, my brother's going to be on Netflix Tuesday. She said, what time? Listen, Netflix is anytime. It's streaming. Yeah, it's not that type of network.
So not for the Mensa candidates necessarily, but for everyone to.
Yeah.
First love. I'm back on deck. I'm back on home turf. So I'll see you all next Tuesday for sure. And it's great to have us all back together. And
absolutely.
To miss time, but I'm running.
Go kill it at the City Winery. Thank you, Damon.
Yeah, knock it out the park.
See y'all, man.
Yes, sir.
And just for the record, Khameron, you win for the best school memory. So good on you, Jupiter.
Come on, Jupiter. Yep. Absolutely.
Way to
That
go,
forgery. That
Cooper.
forgery. I tried forging. No, I tried to answer the phone and pretend to be my dad.
Oh, how did that work?
Yeah.
I got the same response that Khameron got. I thought my voice had dropped, so I'm like, I can do this. Yeah, no, we like to speak to your father. This is his father. All right, we'll call back. They call back, let them know that I was on the phone, playing on the phone. Yeah.
I was playing.
It didn't go over so well.
So I used to, my handwriting was pretty good when I was in high school, Khameron, and I wrote notes for my friends to get out of class. For whatever reason,
wow.
so they could go do whatever. I never wrote a note for myself, but I wrote for my friends to get out of class, and flawless. I wish I had made money off of that.
I'm about to say you would have had
what
one
a hustle.
hell of a ring going.
Yeah.
You had an organized crime ring.
Yeah. I could, and I think about it. Something could have happened to one of them. And how did this happen? And then it would all come back. But when you're 14, 15 years old, and you don't think about things happening to them and
consequences.
what
is
for
that?
your actions. No matter what your parents tell you, there will be consequences for your actions, young woman.
Absolutely.
Nah, we're good.
Yeah,
We're good.
it's not gonna be that big.
Thanks for sharing some of your memories. I think that's something we can go back to another time. And I think Jupiter's probably got a couple of more stories in him.
Absolutely.
For us there.
Plenty.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good old public school.
Let us move to the trending news, and a lot of stuff going on. So as we look at trending, a reminder that Damon is wrapping up City Winery. So that is, if you are able to see him tonight in Chicago, please definitely go and lend your support. We've been talking about storms in my meteorological section. Harold has landed in Texas, bringing much needed rain. Some 1 million plus people in the deep South Texas and Rio Grande Valley area were under a tropical storm warning as Harold, who was a tropical storm because it was 50-mile-an-hour winds, made landfall about 10 o'clock this morning on Padre Island. That's where a lot of people go to vacation. And then as the storm made landfall, heavy downpours were dousing the areas and expected to continue to fall at a rate. And this is how quickly it was going, 2 inches an hour throughout the day. And the storm could produce coastal flooding and flooding along the rivers and the roadways. If it's strong enough and the roads are weak enough to see the roads just kind of crumble under the weight of the water and the pounding of the water, it's really frightening, as well as the mudslides that have formed as a result of these heavy rainfalls.
It kind of reminds me of like the heat rupture that occurred like last summer on Lakeshore Drive.
Yep.
And I was on a bus heading south, and like the road was just like steaming, and I was like, this is not normal.
Yeah,
and,
exactly.
Yeah, the bus just scooted on by, and then like the pavement kind of just like swelled, and then
it was like an eruption of a volcano.
Yeah. Very strange.
It's the heat and poor use of materials or materials of not great value are a lot of that causes of the eruptions in the roadways and what have you. There were some people, thousands of people in their homes and businesses that were out without power as the storm arrived, as Harold came on land, and that's one of the things. But I'm telling you, I know I sound like my mother, my grandmother, but we really need the rain. When we've had well over a month, 30 plus days of 100 plus degree days.
Absolutely.
It's frightening, and what it's doing to, and now, Khameron, you talk about the roads erupting. We're having pipes, old pipes, are just bursting, and you just see the roadways are flooding buildings and what have you as a result of this along these roadways, downtown Fort Worth, downtown Dallas, and what have you. So the effects are pretty devastating for a lot of people, and so the rain. Pray for rain for us, and just keep an eye out on this. But Hillary's gone, as we said, and has moved up, towards Canada and towards the northern, northeastern states. But they got we got Harold, we have Franklin, we have Gert on the way. Gert, yeah, Gert, Gert. Yeah, yeah. We got some good old school names, right?
Gert.
We don't have any Tiffany's. We don't have any, we got Gert.
I mean, they're going alphabet. I mean, Harold, H, and I know the next one had to be G, but
I know. And this one that they called Harold, he moved pretty quickly towards. As a matter of fact, I don't think.
Well, wait, why did Harold when Hillary already came through?
Hillary was off to the west, and
Harold should have been Gert.
But the rate, right? You think, but the rate at which they move, they start out, and so we have E, F, G, H, and H was the last one, but she moved pretty quickly as she moved towards Mexico and up the coast. So
that's funny because I'm really. You said E, F, G, H. Yeah, I was in out of order. So why is Gert? I'm really confused. I was like,
Gert's a little slower, as you might imagine. Gert's probably about 75, 80. And
the jury's still out on whether or not climate change and frequency increases the frequency of the occurrence of storms, but it does increase like the severity. We know that for sure.
Right. For sure.
But the frequency, jury's still out on that. So it could just be that, Mother Nature is like, hey, here's an extra dose of storms today.
But to your point, as far as climate change, the temperature of the water plays a part in how quickly these move, as well as looking at all the climate change related that people don't want to admit to. And it's like, oh, the water feels warmer than it used to. That plays a part in these storms, and so and that was certainly true with Hillary. So and Harold. I would suspect as well. Now, the old dude's got an old dude name, but he moved pretty quickly. If I had Gert and Franklin, I don't know. So former President Donald Trump's co-defendants began surrendering for arrest in Georgia today. A bail bondsman facing charges over, and this is the irony of it, a bail bondsman who was working as a fake elector for Donald Trump. So he's in the business. So I guess he went to a friend, or maybe he did the business himself. Over charges of the voting system in Coffee County, was booked in Fulton County, according to the jail records. And a close friend of Donald Trump's, his lawyer, John Eastman, charged with orchestrating the so-called fake elector scheme designed to keep Donald Trump in office, also surrendered today. And of course, as we've been talking about, Donald Trump has announced that he puts it out there on Truth Social, saying that he'll turn himself into authorities Thursday in Fulton County for his arrest. It seemed to go pretty. I'm sorry, sweet.
It's always a show with him.
Yeah, and will there be cameras?
He hopes so.
As he goes through the process.
He hopes so. He wants him to be there.
He wants him.
What I say last week? Please take my mugshot.
Right, because I need the money. I need the money so bad.
I need the money.
I'm not going to pay for my other friends to help them.
Let's go.
Yeah, exactly.
Get this merch out there.
Put it out to me, have bars in front of my face.
Yeah,
put me in the stripe, put me in the orange, whatever.
Absolutely. Give me the whole thing.
Yeah.
Marketing, baby.
That's it. So check this out. I don't know if you all heard this story. It happened last year, but a Georgia sheriff has resigned after pleading guilty to sexual battery after grabbing the breast of a TV judge, Judge Hatchett.
Really?
The Bleckley County Sheriff, Chris Cootie, resigned and pleaded guilty to misdemeanor sexual battery after he grabbed TV Judge Glenda Hatchett's chest in January 2022. He was sentenced to 12 months probation, also ordered to complete community service and must pay a $500 fine, and was ordered to complete an alcohol and drug evaluation, according to his attorney. Judge Hatchett says she was attending a reception, and the sheriff came up to her uninvited. During introductions, the sheriff poked her briefly in the chest after she said she was not familiar with Bleckley County, where he was the sheriff. And he said, "It's right in the heart of Georgia," and put his finger pointing to the middle of her chest. And
Oh,
she said
man.
he then grabbed her breast. He grabbed
What?
my left breast, he squeezed it, and he then started rubbing on my breast until someone stepped up, removed the Cootie's hand, and pushed him away.
Wait, was that an event?
Yeah.
He had one too many. He had to be drunk.
That's why he has to go through an alcohol.
He had to be drunk.
Yeah.
Boom,
No
boom, boom.
inhibitors on that guy. Yeah. It just it just went 0 to 100.
Real quick, didn't it?
Yeah.
Faster than
Tap,
any
tap,
automobile.
tap.
I just
Rub.
and I think she was stunned because another guy had to step up and say, "Dude, no."
Yeah.
Way too many. He was gone.
Way overserved. Yeah. But they say that alcohol brings these things out in people, and now Sheriff Cootie is without a job, and good on Judge Hatchett for pursuing this, because
He's in a
having
position of
been in a
power.
situation where men who think that they're in power, take advantage of people. I've seen it, and good for her for following through on this.
Yeah, it can cause a lot of shock in the moment, and not everyone can go, "Unhand me, sir."
Right. Yeah, Regina Glover on Facebook, he only received a misdemeanor for a sexual assault. And I think that they probably pleaded down because it happened very quickly.
The thing about like Title IX sexual assault stuff, that stays on you for life.
Yeah.
So even the fact that it is a misdemeanor, he will be known as like a perpetrator of sexual assault wherever he goes. Yeah.
A felonious. It's not a felony, but definitely a sexual assault will stay with you.
Well, so wait, they're saying that he kept his job? He
resigned.
Oh, he resigned. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
He pled guilty and then he quit. Because where do you go from there as the sheriff of the town? This was really crazy. Did you see the house of the Tennessee Titans cornerback? I think he is.
The
His name is
explosion?
Caleb Farley. The house exploded.
Wait,
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't see the picture. I saw the news story, and I'm just like, "What do you mean your house blew up?"
Man, a beautiful house. They said it's worth like $3 million, 3-car garage. And it happened around midnight. His father was there. His father was in the house. He was killed, and a family friend was injured. Yeah, and apparently Caleb was not there, and they're probably in preseason.
The house was like. I mean, it looks like a meth lab explosion.
That's what I thought too.
Oh wow!
And I don't know what do you say, but there was a recent explosion, and I don't know where this was, Khameron, but maybe it was Pennsylvania. A house exploded, and the father of the family was killed, and the house was built over a mine.
What?
Yes. The developers came in and they paved over the mine and said, this will be a good place to put a development of houses. And this house was over a mine, and something in the mine exploded, and the house.
So maybe it could have been like a gas leak or something.
Yeah.
And his dad was, lighting his early evening cigar, and then
this blew up. Because
it's a lot.
That's a big home, and I'm thinking that part of the house is gone. No, the whole thing is.
Gone. Pictures are insane.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
In North Carolina, that's crazy.
Yeah. 61-year-old Robert Farley was staying at the home at the time, and they said that Caleb was not there. But I mean, you think, oh, he'll never be able to live there again because of what happened. No, he will not be able to live there again. He has to go somewhere else and start over as they complete their investigation as to how this happened. And I've just been through some insurance stuff. I just can't imagine what kind of hell that is going to be.
Can you describe what happened to your house? It blew up.
It blew up. And again, these guys are at training camp. They're not even at home. They're at training camp. They're not at home. So he's getting, he's at practice or he's with the team and he's getting this information.
The police is calling and saying,
what do you mean my house blew up?
Yeah.
This is crazy.
Coach, I need to go home. Why?
My house
blew up.
Gone.
Look what the union has done for Brown. UPS workers are getting a humongous jump in their paychecks.
I don't know why, because they don't be doing their jobs. But it's all right. That was
I got
a
nothing but love for the
me.
Brown guys.
That was personal right there. That was personal right there.
Yeah, Jupiter, that really did sound.
That hit you
UPS is
right
tripping
there
over here. Okay.
in the chest.
They get
UPS is
big
tripping over here.
raises in their 5-year contract.
I'm sorry.
Part-time workers make no less than $21 an hour, up from a minimum of $15.50 currently. They are that was a sticking point in the labor negotiations. Full-time workers will average $49 an
Insane.
hour. I'm in the wrong business. I'll tell you that.
What can the union do for you?
Oh my God.
My
And
Lord.
I really hope SAG and AFTRA and the writers get theirs too, because
It was
the
supposed
way
to
they're
be
being ripped
negotiating,
over.
right?
Yeah. That they're still out. So
I don't see
and
that ending anytime soon.
I don't either, sadly, but I hope that we do see some movement there. Because there's movies I need to see, and I'm not going to the movies because I don't want to support the production companies, and I feel bad watching, but I got to support Damon on Netflix, so kind of balance that.
Yeah.
Let's move to entertainment. Bouncing baby arrival news. Congrats to singer Rihanna and her husband, A$AP Rocky, and to tennis pro Serena Williams and her husband, Alexis Ohanian. This week, each couple announced the births of their second child, a second boy for Rihanna and A$AP, and a second girl for Rihanna and Alexis. Adria River joins big sister Olympia.
Wait. Say it again.
Adria River.
No. It was Rihanna and A$AP, right?
A$AP,
Got it. Okay.
And there's
I just want to make sure
Did
I
I
heard it right.
Did I misspeak? Okay.
But I might have heard it wrong too. So go ahead.
Rihanna and A$AP Rocky had their second child together. The first kid's name is RZA. They as of right now, I don't have the name for the second child.
But we knew to RZA for sure.
Yeah. Most definitely.
Absolutely.
Most definitely. But we knew when the baby was coming, because remember the big reveal during the halftime show of the Super Bowl,
right?
When she revealed her second, and that was a bigger deal than, I guess, just announcing that the baby is here. They just kind of like, hey, we had the baby, and of course Rihanna and will have probably an interesting name. Maybe it'll be Giza. I don't know. But
or old dirty bastard.
Yeah. RZA, go get ODB. Khameron with the tip in twice today. All right, young Jupiter. Okay. All right.
Cashing out.
Let's go to we'll close this out with our jewel for the day. Ignoring nonsense and ignorant people is the path to inner peace. Ignoring nonsense and ignorant people is the path to inner peace. Sometimes that's a windy road there, doing all that ignoring of people, but it's good for you in the end. Hey, thanks, guys. Ahmed, thank you so much. Khameron, thanks for coming on and being a part of a fun day. We appreciate you, and we will see you all again soon. Aloha.